I am here to do 3 book reviews, and the first one I am going to start out with is Love on the Trail by Diana Palmer. And I'm going to read you a description of the book. Domestic attorney Hawk Grayson was known around town as quite a ladies' man, but feisty reporter Shailene Jameson swore off she was immune to his seduction. Buster Baxter Raving, that's enough. His seductive charms, and yet, after being assigned to do a story. Sorry, I stutter when I try to rush. With Hawk, she felt a flutter awareness as a result of his smuggling stare and wondered how much longer her defense would hold up. This darkly sensational bachelor was quickly making his way into her heart, but he was not a marrying man. Could Serlene, convinced that this impossible, stubborn, legal eagle, it was an open and shut case of true love. Okay. First of all, Grayson is the usual typical Diana Palmer male. He thinks that he knows everything because he's 39. He's 39 and she's 20. She has turned 20, almost 21. No, she's 21, I think. Yeah, 21. She's almost 22. Anyways, there's a big age difference. And he keeps reminding her throughout this whole book there's an age difference. Well, if he's got that big of a problem with the age difference, he should move the hell on. Because that got on my nerves during the whole book. Okay, sorry. Anyways, that and her boyfriend, he was a control freak throughout the whole book. He didn't like her being around Grayson, but that was part of her job. She had to do reports. She reported with the police. She did cover stories. She did this. She did that. And then she had to go for a week with him to cover a case. Well, her boyfriend gave her an ultimatum. Either you go with him and cover this case, and we're through. So, needless to say, she chose the case over him because he was the most arrogant, stupidest man I've ever met in my life. More worried about what his mama would think about his girlfriend going off with another man to do a report for her job than worrying about her own safety. That was stupid. Oh my goodness. Okay, anyways, needless to say, during the book, there was a lot of going back and forth because she started to have feelings for him, and the whole time you could tell he had feelings for her, but he was fighting it for some reason. Well, the reason was the girl he dated in the past, there was a big age difference. And evidently, all she was after was his money. So he doesn't trust younger women. So, in a way, he was making I can't pronounce her first name, so I'm going to call her by last, Jameson, pay for the mistakes that his ex did. Needless to say, the ex comes back into town when he takes her and his friends to his hometown in Charleston. And I wanted to deck his ex. I really did. I did not like that woman. If there was anybody I despised as a book character, that would be her. And I don't want to tell the ending, but it was pretty good. Only 9 chapters. It went by really fast, but I feel like there could have been maybe 3 more chapters. It could have been dragged out a little bit longer and more detail, but I gave it 5 stars because I love Diana Palmer. And that was Love on Trial. The book is, I think, $4, $3.99. Okay. Let me get me a drink of Cheerwine. Okay. The Stepmother by Caroline Lee. Jack and Marie. Okay. Jack has a past, and he has a daughter named Zella. Yeah. Anyways, is a cute little blonde little girl, and her hair kept growing, and they had to constantly keep it cut. If you get my fairy tale, what this little girl is, she's Rapunzel. And the fairy godmothers took it upon themselves to send for him a mail-order bride. So they cast a spell, and they were looking through their books, and they found Marie. And they sent off for her. So when she got into town, these 4 weirdest ladies show up, and she's like, what are you? So she ends up getting in a buggy with them, and they take her out to Jack's place. Needless to say, he wasn't very thrilled to have her there. He actually shut the door in her face. And her being her feisty self was like, what the heck? Did he really just do that? Yeah, he really just did that. So she walks into the house, and they have a talk, and they finally realize this was all a setup. So she stayed there for the night and thinking that she would go back in the morning into the town. Well, there was a snowstorm. She was stuck there. Needless to say, the fairy godparents made the storm come up. That way they would have longer to get to know each other. For the period of 2 months, they got to know one another, and they kissed. Nothing really happened, but they started to fall for one another. Needless to say, she brings up her past, and her ex-boyfriend, he didn't believe that she should be a midwife or a doctor. And the main reason she became Jack's mail-order bride was because he was a doctor. Well, he comes out and tells her the truth that he is not a doctor. And she overcomes that part. But what I was getting at was her ex tried to force himself on her. And luckily enough that her roommate got there in time before he raped her. And so she was a little bit skittish around men and him. And she come to trust him. And there was a big twist. I don't want to tell away the twist in case you want to read it. And a lot of things come out. Things that I did not see that were going to happen that way. So it was a little bit of a dark story. But I really enjoyed it. It had a really good ending, and I rated it 5 stars. And that was Stepmother by Caroline Lee. There is, let's see, Ella, Red, Beauty, Stepmother, and there's getting ready to be one this month, Rose Red. So I have a feeling I'm going to be reading all this series. It's so good. But if you want to check it out, that is it. Okay. And then the third book I have read is the third in the series from the Mail Order Bride of Texas. I gave it 5 stars. And the story with this one is, Faster, I'll get you in a minute. Okay. Is Shelly and Shane. Shane, I'm going to take you for a little ride with that dog. Ain't going to shut up. Okay. Shane was the sheriff of the county. And he went and rescued Shelly because she come there to be a mail order bride. And the guy that tricked her was going to make her a saloon girl. Needless to say, he promised her to an Indian. And back then, they tortured the women who were captured by the Indians. So every time she ran away, he would take wood and burn it and put it onto her back. At times he whipped her and done a lot of horrible things. By the time they removed her from that situation, the townsladies took it upon themselves to go to the place she was staying, back her up in a corner, made her strip. And while the doctor was there, they wanted to know if she had been raped, because they thought it was their business. Miss Nosy Bodies had to know everything that was going down in that situation, which I wanted to, Anyways, they asked her why didn't she just kill herself already before the Indians took her like that. Really? You going to ask somebody why didn't they kill themselves after everything they done been through? What type of heartless, gutless, bitch is going to ask another person why didn't they kill themselves after that? What horrible things they done been through? God, that ticks me off. Anyways, he takes her back to the place after she keeps running away because she's having nightmares at night and she can't sleep, so she walks. She's scared to death to be closed in. She locks the door, she checks the window, she does everything. She is scared to death. This woman should be admired because she went through so much in this book that I wanted to slap some people. Anyways, okay. He hired her to go to his house to clean and stuff like that. And Miss Nosybody of the town, Miss Edith, took it upon herself saying, you know what? We know you the of the county, so here. He bought her some clothes and told Edith to put undergarments, stuff like that in for her. She put in a see-through nightgown. She thought he did it, calling her a you-know-what. So they finally got that out of the way. And this little busy Edith, I didn't like her till almost to the end of the book. Because these other two characters come into his home. One claiming to be his wife, and she wasn't his wife. She was African American, and this was during a time that the slaves, the South and the North were fighting, and the slaves were set free, and she was dressing as a Caucasian woman to start a better life. Well, kind of find out her and this other boy, they grew up together, right? And Shane knew him, but he didn't know they knew each other and they were working together. Kind of find out, I don't think you're going to read this, but if you do, you might want to fast forward through this part. They were robbing banks. So they were using him through this whole time, and she was being mean. And kind of find out he was her half-sister. That was weird. But evidently his mama cheated on him. Not his mom. Yeah, his daddy cheated on his mama with one of the slaves. And all that during that situation, it was just like, okay. So I was reading this, and then all this, you just want to strangle this one person, then you understand their situation, and then kind of find out that bank robbers and all this stuff coming in, coming out. You're like, what the heck did I just read? So, finally, when they did leave, he felt so stupid because when he went in to look at the wanted posters, and during that time that they were with him, though, he ended up getting into that saloon fight and he got shot. That's how he didn't know that they robbed the banks and what they were doing until after he healed up and kicked them out. So, part of me was like, are you really that stupid? So he finally called the Rangers and got all that set in. They got caught. But during that time, Shelley took all their abuse of Lucy. He never once stuck up for her until the end. Yes, I know that Lucy had to come over barriers. I know that she was spiteful toward white people, and I understand. Hell, I'd be spiteful toward white people too if I was a slave back then and been treated, the way they were treated. Heck, I'd probably just... Anyways, but the fact that it was so much twist, and then ended up being bank robbers, how she forged her clothes and stuff like that. But what I really didn't get, if they were robbing the banks and they knew him, why did she have to be so bitchy to Shelley about being taken prisoner by the Indians and telling her that she was, how'd she put it? I don't know how to... stained or something, that she was useless, she would never amount to nothing, that she would bring shame to Shane, and you would think that with her situation, what she's been through, and what her culture has gone through, and what they're getting ready to overcome, she had to be a little sympathetic to another woman being treated just as the slaves were treated. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. But it was really interesting. It was really good. It had some parts where I just wanted to cry and scream. And I rated it 5 stars, but I liked it. It was Shane's Bride, Mail Order. Yeah, Mail Order Brides of Texas. And that was the 3rd book. I'm getting ready to read the 4th. And that one is it Tane? I think his name is Tane. Or something else. Starts with a T or something. And then there's a 5th book is coming out this month, and it's going to be Poor Boy's story. Now, Poor Boy, his father died, and his mama remarried, and he's around 12, and he's filthy and dirty, and the woman took him in after the place he was staying burnt down, and cleaned him up, and it was just a sad situation with that. But I really like the series. It makes you think about what society is now and what it was back then, and what people have overcome, and just to be grateful for the time we are living in and how we are moving forward and stuff like that. And it just amazes me how much has changed, and a lot for a whole lot better. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this book review. Give it a thumbs up, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.